I've worked in a number of mediums. I mean, I think probably originally I was very much into etching, and I suppose maybe my reputation as an artist has developed through etching more than any other medium. But at the same time, I've always liked that kind of balance, because lithography and etching are sort of like chalk and cheese. They're completely, though they're in the same family, they're very, very different mediums and demand very different things. I mean, etching is much more private. And one of the points I often make about lithography is it's very connected to performance. It's connected to the idea of working in a workshop in collaboration with somebody. That's quite exciting. I mean, it's a bit like a sport in that sense. You know, you're trying to win against certain odds when you make the thing. And of course, it's not an opposing force, but there's a kind of black hole which you can fall into quite easily in this process, almost at any point. I think when I first started, I said to you, you know, everybody says, "Oh, how's it going?" And you go, well, I don't know, you know. And I think one says that all the time, because even really right up to the point you edition the print, you could have some quite catastrophic thing happen, which would mean the thing had to be abandoned. The stone can crack, for example, and this can be a fault that's been in that stone for a very long while, 150 million years probably, and suddenly you shift it. And of course they're very, very heavy, these stones, so they're on forklifts and they kind of leave it around. They're incredibly dense and strong, but at the same time they're very brittle. So, you know, there could have been 150 million years ticking away until suddenly, clank, and it breaks, and there's no way you can get it back. That's your design gone, that's everything gone. And it's for the bin then, really, you know. But not just that, but I mean, in the drawing, the way I work, I come with an assemblage of ideas and thoughts, and anecdotes and backgrounds and all sorts of clutter, which I try to make sense of. And the performance of making sense is a kind of discipline where you do sort it out, because it's, as I said, you can't make a correction. So if you put something down, you've got to mean it. You can't just haphazardly just put something down in a vague hope it's going to be right. You have to have a kind of degree of confidence. At the same time, you don't want to be ultra conservative and just avoid any danger. So you push the imagery, or you push the way you work on it to as far as you possibly can. And sometimes you do that more, and sometimes you do it less. And that of course also means you could push it over the edge. You could push it over the edge at the end as much as at the beginning. Somehow at the beginning you don't, maybe it's not so bad, because you could always grind the stone down again, or you could sort of more or less correct what you've got. But when you get to day 4 or 5 and you've been working 9 hours a day and you've done a lot of drawing on each part of that stone, you get to the last bit and you spill your pot of touche all over the middle. That's it, mate. You know, I mean, you're a goner, and we've all done it, and it's a sort of, it's part of the tension of it. But it's a creative tension, I think, really. I mean, I've got a kind of an idea about performance, which I think is very important in making pictures. Usually in the studio, if you're making a painting, the performance is utterly private. I mean, there is a performance, but it's only for yourself. When the painting's finished, you put it in front of an audience. But somehow in a print, the performance is ongoing. I mean, there is obviously the same. In the end, it's in an exhibition if you're lucky, and people tell you whether they like it or don't like it. But up till then, a lot of other people will have seen it in the workshop, and you will have seen it, and you will have felt all those kind of things that are going right or wrong with it. And the performance of it is really very much in that stage. It's an odd one in one sense that the performance leads up to the completion of the work. And then it has to be printed, which is another performance, which you don't take part in if you're working with a printer. So there's kind of like another manifestation which is beyond the one that you start off with. And then suddenly the thing arrives and you see it as a complete thing. Although the way I'm working at the moment, the black drawing on the stone is being printed in black. When we get that to a stage and then that's editioned, I still haven't made the full decisions about the colour. And I come back up and then I work again with Lindsay, the collaborator, and we work on the colour. And we do a lot more proofing again. So we have to produce a lot of the black prints in order to be able to discard a whole bunch of them again. So, we go through another process of performance to get the colour right, because the additional colours may quite radically change the way you can read it, because you can zone things in different colours, you can suppress things, or you can bring things forward by using the colour. So there's a sort of degree of editing that can go on through the colour.